Hello again. David Lammy is not perhaps famous for being cool-headed, sensible, well-informed and rational, which makes it somewhat unfortunate that he is now representing this country on the world stage. Anybody less suited to the role of statesman, it is hard to imagine. Still, Keir Starmer knew that he would have to avoid a cabinet which is, to use a modern idiom, male, pale and stale, so he was compelled to fill it wherever possible with women and members of visible minorities. Nothing wrong with that, of course. Diversity, equity and inclusion is all the rage these days, and the optics of having a black guy as Foreign Secretary and women as Chancellor of the Exchequer and Home Secretary were first class. Our Prime Minister said that it was time for change, and what could be a better change than this? Having women and ethnic minorities filling 3 of the 4 great offices of state. Well, there's quite a few things wrong, actually. All well and good putting a woman in charge at the Home Office and declaring that she will tackle the small boats crisis, but when pictures from a few years ago emerge showing this character holding up a sign saying "Refugees welcome," it does rather make you wonder just how committed she will be to preventing these refugees coming to Britain. It is the same with David Lammy, although much, much worse. Of course, we all say and do things when we are young which we would blush to be reminded of in later life. I seem to remember going on protest marches about the war in Vietnam and so on myself in the late 1960s. In David Lammy's case, though, the silly things which he has been saying and doing do not date back to his adolescence, but to the time when he was 46 years of age and an MP. Most of us by that age have learnt to weigh our words a little carefully, but not, alas, our Foreign Secretary. In just 2 months' time, Lammy will be dealing with the new President of America, Donald Trump. In 2018, 6 years ago, David Lammy described Trump as a woman-hating, neo-Nazi sympathising sociopath. Oops. Awkward or what? The previous year, he said that the next President of the United States was racist and a Ku Klux Klan neo-Nazi sympathiser. It is very difficult to see how it would be possible for idiotic and juvenile remarks like this not to affect the special relationship which we have with America. Now that we are no longer in the common market or European Union or whatever it's called these days, the single most important relationship we have internationally is with the United States. I suppose that if the Foreign Secretary were to apologise for what he has said in the past about Donald Trump and confess himself to have been a bit of a fool for shooting his mouth off in that fashion, then it might just be possible to cobble together a decent working relationship with America in the future. I don't see that happening for 2 reasons. First, because Lammy is a stubborn and short-sighted man who thrives on catchphrases and ideological claptrap rather than rational and coherent thought, perhaps mixed in with a large dash of realpolitik. Secondly, of course, if he stops insulting Trump and instead cozies up to him, people are going to be muttering unkind expressions like sellout or even, I'm afraid, chalk ice. He has to keep a sharp eye on what's being said on the ground in Tottenham, for these are the people who elected him. The neatest solution would be for Keir Starmer to give him the bum's rush and then appoint a new Foreign Secretary, but I doubt he has the guts for such a bold move. Which I suppose means that at this critical juncture in world affairs, with the very real possibility of a Third World War erupting, our relationship with America is likely to be fatally compromised, one might almost say poisoned, by one of the least competent cabinet ministers most of us can remember over the last 50 or 60 years.